The screen flickered to life, and in an instant, the world held its breath as Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana unleashed a verbal barrage that left Hollywood icon Robert De Niro visibly trembling with rage. It was a live TV showdown no one saw. Coming, broadcast across every major network, and within hours, the clip had exploded across social media, racking up millions of views, with the hashtag #YourKennedyVsDeNiro trending worldwide. The tension crackled like a storm about to break, and for the two men at the center of the storm, this wasn't just a debate. It was a collision of worlds, values, and deeply buried personal stakes. The setting was a high-stakes political talk show, America Unfiltered, where Kennedy, known for his folksy charm and razor-sharp wit, had been invited to discuss the latest legislative battles. De Niro, a vocal celebrity activist, was there to promote a new charity initiative aimed at supporting struggling artists in a post-pandemic economy. The two had clashed before on policy, but this night felt different, charged with an unspoken intensity that hinted at something personal. The moderator, a seasoned journalist named Claire Hensley, tried to steer the conversation toward common ground, but the moment Kennedy opened his mouth, the gloves came off. It started innocently enough. De Niro spoke passionately about the need for government funding to save the arts, his voice thick with emotion as he recounted stories of young actors and musicians left destitute. Kennedy listened, nodding politely, but when it was his turn to respond, he leaned into the microphone with a glint in his eye. "Mr. De Niro," he began, his Louisiana drawl cutting through the air. "I respect your talent, but let's talk. Facts. You're asking taxpayers, folks working 2 jobs just to put food on the table, to foot the bill for Hollywood elites who've made millions. That's a tough sell when bridges are collapsing and kids can't read." The studio. Audience gasped, and De Niro's face flushed a deep red. What followed was a masterclass in rhetorical demolition. Kennedy didn't just challenge De Niro's argument, he dismantled it with a barrage of statistics about government spending, weaving in anecdotes about his constituents in Louisiana who, he said, don't have the luxury of a second take. De Niro, usually unflappable on screen, struggled to keep his composure. His hands clenched into fists, and his voice rose as he fired back, "You don't get it, Senator! This isn't about elites. It's about preserving culture, about giving kids a chance to dream." But Kennedy, unfazed, countered with a line that would become the clip's viral centerpiece. "Dreams are fine, sir, but they don't pay the rent. And I reckon your charity could start by looking in the mirror, maybe donate some of that Oscar money instead of asking my folks to do it." The studio erupted. De Niro's fury boiled over, and he pointed a shaking finger at Kennedy, shouting, "You're a disgrace! You don't care about people. You care about power." The outburst was raw, unscripted, and carried the weight of a man who felt personally attacked. Behind the scenes, the tension had roots deeper than policy. De Niro had grown up in a working-class neighborhood in New York, the son of an artist who struggled to make ends meet, and his charity was a personal mission to honor that memory. Kennedy, meanwhile, came from humble beginnings himself, raised by a single mother who instilled in him a fierce pride in self-reliance, a value he carried into every debate. This wasn't just a public spat. It was a clash of their very identities. As the segment spiraled, Claire tried to intervene, but the damage was done. De Niro stormed off set, his exit captured by a shaky camera that only fueled the viral fire. Online, opinions split hard. Some hailed Kennedy as a hero for standing up to Hollywood, while others vilified him for humiliating De Niro. Memes flooded X, with clips of De Niro's outburst set to dramatic music, while Kennedy's quips were remixed into soundbites. The media frenzy peaked when a leaked video surfaced, showing De Niro in the green room afterward, tears streaming down his face as he muttered to an aide, "I just wanted to help. Why does it always turn into a fight?" It humanized him, revealing the vulnerability behind his tough guy persona, and shifted the narrative. For Kennedy, the aftermath was a mixed bag. He faced praise from his base, but also a wave of criticism for his bluntness, with some calling him heartless. Yet, privately, he felt a pang of guilt. He'd won the argument, but at what cost? He remembered his mother's words, "Always fight." Fair, Johnny. Over the next few days, as the story dominated headlines, Kennedy reached out to De Niro through a mutual contact, proposing a private meeting. De Niro, still raw but curious, agreed. They met in a quiet diner in New Orleans, far from the cameras. The conversation was tense at first, with De Niro admitting his outburst stemmed from a place of pain. His father's struggles still haunted him. Kennedy listened, then shared his own story. How his mother worked nights as a nurse to send him to college, and how he'd vowed to fight for those who couldn't fight for themselves. The turning point came when Kennedy said, "I didn't mean to hurt you, Bob. I just see things different. Maybe we can find a way to meet in the middle." De Niro, wiping his eyes, nodded. "Maybe you're right. Let's figure it out." What emerged was a surprising collaboration. The two launched a joint initiative, blending De Niro's charity with Kennedy's focus on local job creation, funding arts programs that trained young people for practical careers, stage design, sound, engineering, even construction for theater sets. It wasn't perfect, and both faced pushback. Kennedy from fiscal conservatives, De Niro from arts purists. But the project gained traction, especially when a viral video showed the two laughing together at a community center groundbreaking. By the end, the story of their feud had transformed into a testament to reconciliation. On August 16, 2025, as the initiative celebrated its first anniversary, De Niro took the stage at a benefit concert, with Kennedy in the audience. "We didn't see eye to eye," De Niro said, his voice steady, "but we found a way to build something together. That's the power of listening, even when it's hard." Kennedy stood, clapping, his eyes misty. The message was clear. Differences don't have to divide, they can inspire. And as the crowd cheered, the viral storm that had once torn them apart now united them in a legacy of hope.